Welcome to Outside is Magic, a podcast about the intersection of creativity and the outdoors. I'm your host, Christopher San Augustine. This week, I'm joined by Natasha Woodworth, a designer, mom, and founder of Curious Creatures, a mountain bike apparel brand based out of Montana. Natasha's journey took her from ski racing in Switzerland to designing for Patagonia and eventually launching her own brand. We talk about letting go of perfection, learning by doing, and what it means to build something from scratch. If you ever felt the pull to break away and start your own thing, this one's definitely for you. And before we dive in, if you're enjoying this show, it would mean a lot to me if you would subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with a friend. It helps more than you know, and it keeps this project growing. Thank you so much. Tasha, thank you for jumping on the podcast. I'm super interested in your younger years. It sounds like you grew up in Europe and you did a bunch of skiing and ski racing. Can you take me back to that chapter of life? And I'm just kind of curious on how you went from that to wanting to design products.
Yeah, I grew up in Vermont and Massachusetts. It's like kind of the two places my parents ended up moving, but I did spend a ton of time in Europe. I guess when I felt like I was really old, but I was like 15 or 16.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, the history there is kind of more like my family was always both my parents were professional ski racers and they met on the Olympic team, and so I was really lucky because they were the kind of parents that just took us to do all the things that they wanted to do when they had kids. So we all skied really young, and I ended up competing and going that way, and my brother and sister ended up not ski racing, but my sister became a professional hockey player and stuff like that. So we're all kind of athletes in some way. And yeah, Europe was just for ski racing. That's like where the biggest competition is. And like, it's crazy over there. I mean, it's like the Super Bowl. Nobody really cares about ski racing over here compared to. So it was cool to compete at that level and yeah, learned a ton.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry for that confusion. I thought you grew up there.
But no, that would be cool. I wish.
Yeah. So how did you end up wanting to design products? It sounded like you went to college in New York City, and I'd love to poke your brain about your experience there because I lived in New York City and I know it really impacted my life. Like you're around so many different kinds of people and there's so many people doing amazing things. It's hard to not walk away just feeling really energized and also drained as well.
Yeah, that's a good way of explaining it. Yeah, so I continued with this ski racing thing, and I actually did that in college. So I went to Middlebury College and continued to do like the NCAA thing there. But I think because of ski racing, or definitely because of ski racing, I hurt myself a lot. And so like I was always getting knee surgeries and always on crutches. And so I needed something that could keep me busy and like keep me excited. And I had always been an artistic kid. So I think all those injuries sucked. When I look back, I'm kind of grateful for them because I had a lot of downtime to like be just an artist, and I was always like making stuff and drawing and painting. So then when I got to school, I did a lot of studio art and sculpture, which if you know how to make money in sculpture, then that's great because I don't. So I think a bit of it was like, okay, I love like building things with my hands and making things, and how do I take that portion of myself that I love and turn it into a career that I can actually, you know, um have health insurance. No, just kidding, but have a career with it. And one of those things was product design. So I always like really liked sewing, and the pattern making is really interesting and cool. So then after Middlebury, I went to Parsons, which is like very fashion based design school. And honestly, yeah, New York was crazy. Like when I was there, it was like you said, everyone's so creative. There's so much energy. And when I was there, I was like, whatever, 25 or something, because I took some years to continue ski racing before college. And I thought I actually did want to do the fashion thing. I was like, I'm going to be a fashion designer. And then I think the more time I spent in that world, I really missed the outdoors and like missed skiing and missed being around people that cared about nature and yeah, like more of the thoughtfulness of product and stuff like that. So it was cool. I got that experience and I did work with some like really creative people, even like costume designers and people with just really wild ideas. And it's fun to see what they're still doing now. It's like crazy, still doing
Yeah.
runway stuff. But then I was excited to be in more outdoor and I got a job at Roxy and then at Patagonia. And yeah, that's kind of my early design years.
That's cool. I wonder if there's anything from your childhood that you look back on now that you realize, wow, this drawing I made kind of sparked off this chain of reactions that brought you to where you are today. You ever thought about that?
I haven't thought about it in terms of something I've done, but I have thought recently about because I have a 1.5-year-old. And when I grew up, I just happened to be next door to a artist. Like he was a sculptor that really truly made his living, like making wood sculptures. And he would make like these beautiful, elaborate, like what are they, like ship mast heads? So like the
Yeah.
mermaids, the bow of the
Yeah, I know what you're
ship,
talking about. That's cool.
just like really cool stuff. And I remember my dad taking me to his house a lot in his studio. And I think that was like such a formative thing as a young kid to be like, oh, you can like make your life around building things or like making art or being creative. Cause
Yeah.
I think if I didn't have that, like how would you ever really know? And yeah, I think about him all the time.
That's super cool. I have an aunt and she was a jewelry maker in Berkeley, California. And she used to always bring me in as a young child and just help her build her jewelry. And I like can vividly remember like her giving me some brass. I don't even remember what it was, but to put together. And yeah, definitely looking back, I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. It definitely set me off for sure.
Yeah, especially like back to outside is magic. Like it's when you're a little kid too, like it truly seems like magic. Like I would see his studio and like how he would make a dolphin out of wood. And I was like, he's a wizard. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's super cool. Actually, just to go back to New York real quick, I'm curious, is there something from that experience there that you still like carry with you today?
Yeah, I think Parsons was really amazing in its entrepreneurial spirit without even really trying. Like, because you are surrounded by people that go there and are like truly have like the biggest, wildest dreams, and some of them do.
Yeah.
Men and women that were in my class have their own runway lines now and are like dressing Lizzo and stuff. So there's like
Yeah.
that bit where you're just surrounded by people who dream really big in New York. And I
Yeah.
think that's pretty cool. Yeah. So that
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
think that's a good takeaway. New York is a place where people go to dream and you can actually really bring your dreams to life. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
you can do that anywhere, but in New York it feels very possible and you see people around you doing it.
Yeah. When did you live there?
I lived there, like 15 years ago. I
Yeah.
can't remember. It's been a while, but I went there after college to pursue a career in motion graphics design. So I was basically animating, doing animations for MTV, VH1, all that kind of
Cool.
stuff. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was it was at a very exciting time and learned a lot. And it was same thing when my wife she's a Montessori teacher and she did
Oh,
her
cool.
training here in Portland. And when we came here, it just made me miss the West Coast. So Portland felt very similar to the Bay Area and yeah, it's been great ever since.
Yeah. Oh, nice. That's sweet. Yeah. I feel like it was also a moment in time too. Like when I go back there now, I'm like, I do not have the
Yeah.
energy to live.
Oh yeah, especially with bringing a kid there, I imagine is crazy.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah. I know you've talked about this a bunch, but you did land kind of a dream job at Patagonia. I think a lot of people dream of working there. Is there something very unexpected that you took away from that experience that you realize now?
Dang, that's a good question. Yeah, it was totally great. And it shaped like so much of my design process and how I build product and think about product. I guess like something that I maybe didn't expect is it's moved across the country for that job and it's all, whatever to how long it is now, 12, 13 years later. And it's so many of my really close friends still and like best friends. And I met my partner there, like, like it's a great community of people that work there. Um, and yeah, that was maybe like something I didn't totally expect. And just, I think the environmental side goes even deeper than people realize, like just how deeply people that work there care, and especially the family of the Chenards care, and how it's really like not marketing and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's really pretty cool.
Yeah, I worked on a couple Patagonia projects a few years ago, and I was definitely caught off guard on like how thoughtful and considerate they were on everything that they were doing, like just sitting in on the meetings, and I really appreciated that. Like it's not normal for a normal client to kind of do that, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's neat.
Um, do you have any advice for any designers looking to like break into a place like Patagonia? Because I imagine it's a pretty hard place to get into. How do you, I don't know, how do you stand out? How do you get your foot in the door in a place like that?
Sometimes I joke, I'm like, I wouldn't get
Probably
hired
nobody
now.
knows, right? Yeah.
Like I wouldn't get my job now. I got it
Yeah,
when they
yeah.
were smaller and maybe less people were applying. Now it's so competitive. No, I don't know. I mean, I do think they really value, yeah, like the passion for the environment and sustainability and also the sports. That was a really wonderful thing for me because I did care so much about skiing and climbing and getting out and doing those things that building product for that came like such a big part of how I worked with my team, and whether it was like the business or marketing or whoever. And yeah, so just like following the things you really care about, and that process of when you're out on a long trip and it's 3 days and you're like kind of bummed out because your shorts are not fitting right, and just like being really critical of all that stuff, and then yeah, working that into how you want to build product better. But yeah, I think that is a tough question. I don't have like a super good answer.
Yeah. I don't either. I think I would just recommend people just to like do as many passion projects as possible. Probably just like really pour your heart into something that you're passionate about and share that versus maybe some other client project that has no relevance, right? It's like
Yeah,
show off
you
what you really care about.
totally. You articulated what I was kind of like not able to articulate. But yeah, like find those things in your life that you love, and or even if it is like a backpacking trip that's going to make you really excited and you sew all your shirts and your big layer for it, like that will get people at Patagonia so excited because it shows that you really feel strongly about something and have an idea and want to follow it through. And making things yourself, I think, is really important. So you have a sewing machine in the back, but there's a lot of
Yeah, I just
designers.
got into it.
There's a lot of designers, and especially in school now, they can get away with like just drawing the 2D drawing and sending it to the factory. And I think, yeah, knowing how the pieces actually go together and like spending that time sewing things wrong or right, and ripping them out and resewing them, like that stuff really makes you a better designer, and is really important.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience as a product designer? Were you really hands-on or were you more conceptual drawing? What did it look like?
Yeah, I'm probably kind of a combo, but I do think, yeah, between Parsons, which really encouraged that, like know how to make your own patterns, know how to fix things yourself. And then Patagonia has this cool place called the Forge and the Advanced R&D team. And that's actually where I ended some of my years there, was on that team, which works on things 5 years out. And that just means you have the
Nice.
time, right? It's nice. Like if you do have an idea, you can make it yourself, or you can work with the technicians and sewers there. And even now with Curious Creatures, that's what I love about living in Bozeman. It's I can get fabrics here, I can cut them in my studio and sew them up, and then I can like try the fabric on a ride just like straight from my house. And I don't have to wait
That's
for a
super cool.
factory to like, I don't have to build them a tech pack and make them a drawing and like do all the things before just trying a few different fabrics, because that eats up a lot of
Yeah.
time.
Did you ever kind of get caught up in all the chaos of a project that you have a hard time starting it? Or if you don't, do you have any advice for people who are trying to conceptualize something and then they just get stuck in that concept phase and they can't actually just start sewing things or cutting pieces of paper or anything, you know? You're just so
I
much in your head of like, yeah.
All the
Do you
time.
deal with
I
that?
don't know.
Okay.
Yes. Or like even in just working on some tops right now, like they're literally t-shirts, you know? It's like nothing that complicated. And I've been spending so much time on the tops. And then like a really complex like chamois or pant, I can kind of like whip it out. But sometimes it's like those simple ones with all the little details and like the infinite options, and you just start really spinning
Yeah.
out. But yeah, that's where I guess some things that I have done before are like being really conscious from the beginning of what you're working on. Like if you're like, okay, I'm going to build a bike packing kit, like this is going to be the best short for bike packing. And then kind of what I would usually do is like go bike packing and be really thinking about it the whole time you're on that trip. And then sometimes when you come home and you go to the studio after that, it's like quite easy because you've already like worked through a lot of the issues or like problems you want to solve in your head on that trip. And then sometimes it seems kind of easier versus like just having infinite, like maybe we do this, maybe we do that.
Yeah, that's cool. It's nice to hear that you go through this process as well. And it's not just me. Yeah, probably everybody. So did Curious Creatures, did that come up while you're at Patagonia, I imagine? The concept of starting your own project?
I think I had always kind of, in the back of my mind, wanted to see what would happen if I tried something on my own. But it wasn't like a few things kind of came together with leaving because it was like you said, it's a hard place to leave, and it was great working there. We actually ended up moving to Montana during COVID and then kind of had to get called back to the California office and didn't want to go back to California, which was like a pretty big part of it. I just am from the East Coast and I like the seasons and I really like the mountains and stuff like that. So that was a little bit of a push that maybe I needed to be like, okay, I'm actually not going to move back there. Yeah, that makes sense.
I read in an interview that your dad kind of pushed you to make the leap and start the business. Is that true?
Yeah, my whole family was quite supportive. Yeah, I think again, just like having people that believe in you and are like, I do remember my dad being like this. It's funny because now in hindsight, I'm like, really, this is the time. But he was kind of like, if you're gonna do it, this is the time. And then we
Yeah.
ended up having a baby, and like, oh God, so this is crazy
Yeah.
timing. But he's kind of right in some ways. Like you need a little bit of. I couldn't have done it even 6 years ago because I feel like I didn't have enough experience. And also, like, I don't know if I did it 10 years from now, maybe I'd be kind of tired. I'm tired now too, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you have did you have a big runway or you just kind of just went for it?
I had like a year to work on stuff before, which honestly, that was kind of fast. At other places I've worked, we usually had like an 18-month calendar. So I've had some great factory partners that were willing to do things pretty quick with me. And because our orders are so small, it's like we were kind of able to do things pretty fast. But yeah, so worked on the product for about a year, getting the website up. And then we launched in September, which was like also kind of a weird time to launch mountain bike season. Everyone's kind of like putting their bikes away then, but it worked out. It was still really fun, and we got to go to a few events in September that were really nice. And yeah, so this will be our second season, second mountain
Nice.
bike of selling. Yeah.
Did you concept the brand first or did you have a product in mind first?
That is a good question. It feels like they were kind of at the same time because it was like very much about this thing I had kept on hearing from people in my community about how there's still like such a big difference between how they dress for their like normal life and how they dress for their sport life, and just wanting something that
Yeah.
didn't feel so incongruous and so disjointed. And then also still just like hearing problems from friends about fit or things not feeling flattering or feeling good on their bodies. And then, yeah, I guess the brand part came around the same time too, of just wanting to celebrate a little bit more like joy in the outdoor industry. And, I think it was kind of, I don't know, 2020 is like a pretty dark
Yeah.
time world. And like, I think even environmentalism was like so important to people, but my partner and I would kind of like joke around. We'd watch these movies and be like, outdoor movies, and be like, "Wow, that was another cyanide tablet." Like, why isn't anyone talking about how fun riding bikes is, or like how much fun they're having with their friends or their community outside? So I think a little bit of the branding was more born from that moment.
Yeah. I love the name. It's genius. And I just love all of the branding and everything about it. I actually saw your booth in Sea Otter. Maybe it was 2 years ago. Were you at
Yeah,
Sea Otter 2 years ago?
yeah, that was the
It
first
was
time.
probably like you would be like your first one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I was there with my mom.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's funny. I was there with Gorewear. I've been like
Yeah.
ambassador for like many brands for, I don't know, the past decade. I've been an ambassador for some brands. I kind of feel bad saying this, but for Gorewear, and it's the same thing. I like like the technical aspects of the clothing were really amazing, but everything about fit and the ethos behind it, it didn't resonate with me because I'm really just a cut off shorts, shirt, cotton t-shirt kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really difficult. And I think it finally, I don't know, it's nice seeing more brands like yours who are just kind of leading with, you said, joy and really creating stuff for that your friends want to ride. Because if your friends want to ride in something, there's a big chance that a lot more people are going to want to ride in that stuff too.
Yeah.
So,
So, yeah. And I felt like even sometimes I was getting pushed to like actually design things to look technical, to like kind of be for that technical customer. And at Curious Creatures, I like that. I have the freedom to I still be just as technical, like use all the most technical fabrics, all the most technical constructions that I know how to do, but I don't have to like design it visually to look techy because that's maybe not our customer, which is kind of free.
yeah. So you learned a lot about like the environment and like responsibility about like manufacturing and all those processes at Patagonia. It sounds like you have incorporated that into your business. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and it was just so nice because there it's not really like an afterthought. It's just they start it from the very beginning. It's like to your point, very thoughtful about everything they put out in the world. And I try to do that now because it's also easy to get excited. And people are like, why don't you make a hoodie? And I'm like, oh, yeah, we could make a hoodie, but there's like lots of hoodies out there. And we probably will someday. If I do make a hoodie, I want it to be like a really good hoodie or like have something different. So, yeah, just thinking about the product line that way and just being really critical of everything we put out into the world. It's like, it's a big responsibility of a designer to yeah like just be making things. I think like visiting factories is quite humbling sometimes because you see like especially at Patagonia, it'd be like thousands of things on the conveyor belt being made. And you're like, whoa, that's a lot of impacts going out into the world. You just want to make sure it's really good. So I think there's a lot of that I've learned that I take over. Some small things too, like we work with a repairs technician in Belgrade, which is just right the next town over. And so if anything gets torn up or seam gets ripped or something in your shorts, you can send it back to us and we'll repair it for you just to keep things going. Yeah, keep the garments in the closet and not in the landfill. And then a big one, which I was very focused on, was trying to use 100% mono materials. So lots of things, all of our bottoms have 4-way stretch, but usually you have a ton of spandex, right? And then that makes it really hard to recycle those components because like anytime there's a blended fabric, you can't just like take it to a recycler. So I tried to use these fabrics. I'm sorry, I hear my daughter kind of like yelling upstairs. Hopefully,
That's fine.
uh, so we use a lot of mono materials so that almost all of our shorts can be recycled at end of life. So again, you can send them back to us and we ship them out to a recycler, which just kind of closes that loop, which is really great. And then otherwise, when we do have to use spandex and things like the chamois and stuff, we do use recycled polyester. But yeah, it's a constant journey of like
Yeah.
really keeping up to date with mostly materials. That's like where a lot of the innovation is in sustainability and being really careful about factories too. Like I'm really excited to work with this new factory we're working with where I just met with them last week and they are all fair trade, which is really neat because especially in the bike industry, I don't think many things are fair trade, and which basically means all the workers are paid well and a living wage and they have all these benefits. And they're actually the first Southeast Asian carbon neutral factory. So everything like in their factory,
Cool.
solar and yeah. So there's just little things like that are great that I've learned from Patagonia and really important to keep doing.
What country is the factory located in?
Sri Lanka. Yeah,
Sri Lanka. Very cool.
I know.
So do you travel out there with your bicycle? Out of
I'm like,
curiosity.
I actually would love to, but I met them just in California because they were coming to
Oh,
California
okay.
for a trip. So I was like, this is better for my budget if I meet you guys in California.
Yeah.
But that would be fun
Yeah.
someday, or
I bet.
quite nice too, I think.
Yeah. I bet like sustainability too, there's a bit of compromise. Obviously, we can't do everything. What do you think would be What are a few important things that you think that as consumers we should start looking out for?
As consumers, I mean, this was like so important. I like the way that people are thinking about cost per wear too in their garments. Every garment has a cost, right? If you buy this like mini skirt, those Shein mini skirts for $7, sure it costs $7, but like what is it doing to the workers in that country? And like why does it cost $7? That's actually insane. Like somebody's working and not getting paid. So I think just as consumers really focusing on only buying what you need, and when you do need something, buying high quality, really durable stuff is like the best thing you can do. I mean, people get kind of like distracted or into the recycled content, and that is all still super important, but it's way better for the environment to just keep something for 15 years
Yeah.
or as long as it could possibly be. And then that's nice too, right? Because then you're kind of like freed up when you're like, well, I don't know, this jacket is more expensive, but if I'm going to wear it for 15 years versus the one that's going to fall apart in just 7, the cost per wear actually goes way down.
Yeah, that's very true. Do you have a team? What's your team look like? Is it just you or do you have a crew?
Yeah.
What's it
Yeah,
look
I
like
am
over there?
building a good little crew, but it's pretty like I'm the only full-time person still, but I do have a great employee, Anna. She was maybe at Sea Otter when you met her. She was the first person I ever hired, and she helps with shipping and receiving because we're still just shipping from our garage. And she does a lot of
Oh,
events.
that's really cool.
Yeah, and she's great. She was like a ripping bike racer and always doing crazy trips and doing product testing for us and stuff like that. So that's great to have her. And then I have a part-time graphic designer in town in Bozeman. And then I just got some marketing help, which is really super exciting because that was taking up a ton of my time. And then I was missing working on product. So yeah, Kirsten has joined us from Truckee actually. And yeah,
Cool.
kind of like start to build a little team. They all have other things going on and some other freelance jobs too, but it's been really nice.
Yeah, I think that's such a cool way. I've talked to a lot of kind of solo entrepreneurs who have agencies, and I think being able to stay small but expand as you need it is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's been so great. They're all like oddly from Vermont. I didn't even mean to do that.
I want to know, is there a feeling that you hope people have when they use your product or interact with your brand?
Yeah. I think, gosh, I should have like one pointed answer, but I kind of have two. And I think going back to the name, like the curious part, I hope that they're on some kind of adventure or exploring in some way. And then the creature part is really about feeling like you're a part of nature again, which I think you get when you're on your bike or you're running around outside or anything you're doing where you just feel like you're part of the ecosystem and you're part of the landscape again in a way that is pretty unique and cool. And I just like hope when they're wearing our clothes, they feel like that. Yeah. And like kind of like the weird, funky parts of being a creature and just like being an animal in nature.
Yeah.
Like product wise, again, just like feeling like themselves. Like I do think there's a lot of people that are just getting into mountain biking and they're like, I gotta wear these like crazy heavy overbuilt shorts. Like I don't feel like this is something I would wear.
Yeah.
And then maybe they start to feel like, oh, maybe mountain biking isn't for me. So yeah, just like feeling like themselves, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, again, I love the name. And curiosity, I think, is just so cool. It's so underrated. Yeah. We all need to be reminded to be curious and try new things.
I love Outside is Magic. I think that's such a cool name.
I love that. Like it came to me and I was like, I'm gonna use this for something. And then when I was thinking of doing the podcast, yeah, I was just like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
What is like one thing you wish people knew about the kind of like true cost of apparel? What goes into making a piece of your apparel? 'Cause it sounds like a lot goes into it. You're making the prototypes in your studio and bringing them to life. There's a lot of care and intention that goes into that. What is something that you want people to know about that process?
Yeah, I think like garments in general, like not even as specific to me, but some of these like brands I get so mad at, like these huge brands that just copy. And I'm not saying this is happening to us because it's not, but like these huge brands that will copy other designers, and then they don't have to have like a product team or a design team. Like how is that's so crazy to me that like a brand cannot have a product team, because all they're doing is buying other people's stuff that is made and then just ripping it off. And like I think there
Yeah.
is something cool about supporting, yeah, like a creative team, whether it's at like Levi's or wherever, that there's like actual product people that are thinking hard about what they're making, what they're putting out into the world. And that like has a spirit and soul to it that these like rip-off brands will never have. But that's just kind of like clothing in general. But yeah, I think like specific to Curious Creatures, it is a lot of field testing. It's a lot of durability testing. It's like sending it to different field testers and different locations. Sometimes I'll send stuff to like Arizona where it's really, really warm to make sure like a fabric actually works there, or the Vermont where it's really muggy. So yeah, so there's just like a lot of testing and process that goes into everything. And then I think like also people forget, not even just how hard we're working, but people forget that their clothes are made by hand sometimes. Like you'd be shocked how many times people are like, oh, it's not just like a machine. And you're like, no, these are like skilled sewers, whether it's in the US or overseas, it doesn't matter. They're humans making our clothes. And like, that's something I want people to always think about and remember. And like, especially when they're like, oh, a lot of our tops are made in the US and they're quite expensive. Like, I know that, but that's also what the cost is in the US to pay someone a fair living wage to sew. So, yeah, I think it's just like kind of nice to remind people that everything is handmade.
Yeah. I started sewing in December and I made my first backpack and I was like, oh my
Nice.
gosh, no wonder these backpacks cost $400 or $500. The materials themselves are super expensive, and then like, the process is super complicated and takes a lot of time, and you can't rush through it. So it's made me definitely appreciate the whole process. I can't even fathom creating a garment, though I do want to make a running short one day. That's
Oh, yeah.
one of my like bigger goals because I'm shorter. I'm 5'6", so nothing fits me. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to make my own running shorts.
Oh,
So
yeah.
maybe one
You
day.
could. Yeah, you should do it. I probably have some base patterns I could send you. You can start from.
Oh, sweet. What does your process look like as far as organizing? Because it sounds like you have a lot of different things you do, right? You have your prototyping, you have your research, you're, sending things off to ambassadors probably to test out products. How are you managing and tracking all that? Do you have a big white wall with pieces of paper everywhere, or are you like a Google Docs kind of person? Like, how are
No,
you
I'm not
keeping
good
track
at
of
it.
everything?
I'm just bad at it, probably.
Okay.
You can ask the people that work with me. No, I think, yeah, that's a really good question. I do like writing stuff down. I do have like even the board behind me is kind of like lots of like inspiration
Yeah, I got a little
images
mood board. Yeah.
like that. I do like having things like up on the wall. But yeah, it's hard. That's not something that comes naturally to me. And when you do have so many different jobs, basically, it's hard and I think I get sucked into, like I think I was telling you that like I got really excited about marketing because I'd never really done that before, and I just like let it take over and got so into the marketing side of things and branding and that stuff. And then all of a sudden
You did a great job.
it's and then I was like, "Oh my god, I haven't done any product in, like, 6 months." Like, now I'm really behind on product. So, I think I gotta get better at it. But having a good team, which I'm slowly building, is probably the key to keeping people like me that are pretty type B on track.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if anyone can create a product that could like, help people like us that have a million things going on track it, oh man, it'd be a good product to have.
Why
I
isn't AI
like
doing
I
that?
struggle with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have Post-its, I have a notebook, I put stuff on the walls. I like having it organized in a doc or something, but the physical tactile part of having a note or something on the wall, I wish I had both.
Yeah, we're just stuck between these 2 worlds where, like, so much of what we do is
Yeah.
tactile, but then so much is on our computers now too. You like
Yeah. Have you tried out Fig? Yeah, have you tried that out for I was very resistant of it. I hated it for years. But actually as a place to kind of a big white wall to throw things on is actually really great.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Cool.
maybe give it a try.
And you can invite people to
Um,
the collaborate, right? So it can be like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's super cool.
The
What's
thing
kind of like
I have like hundreds of screenshots of things I think are cool that are just like I can never
yeah.
find them.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it's great for, like creating a mood board. Yeah, it's amazing for that. What is next in terms of Curious Creatures? Are you feeling pretty happy like the size of your product line and where you are as a company? Are you like kind of slowly itching towards something bigger, or what is that process looking like?
Yeah, I think I'm really proud of our product line, especially as it relates to bike. I feel like it's like pretty pointed. I think like I talked about, I'm working on a lot more tops, especially some that are I like some cool new fabrications that are a little bit more technical, but I think we're still very small. Like if like maybe a little bit on the internet and stuff, it can look like you're bigger than you are. So I think a big goal is really just to focus on like growth is kind of like a dirty word, but just yeah, having more people find out about us because not that many people really know
Yeah.
about it. And I can't even believe I'll still go for rides in Bozeman, and there's tons of people that are, oh, what's Curious Creatures? So there's a lot of like
Yeah.
exposure that we still need to do because I think what's really nice is when people do get the product, they really like it, and our returning customer rate is super high. Like people we have tons of customers who have had like 6 orders. They just like keep on buying more because once they like try it on and see the fit and they're really psyched. But I think just like getting new customers has been maybe more challenging than I realized because we're not really we don't have a store. So it's kind of just like spreading the word. And then yeah, I think in terms of like it would be nice to make some more fall stuff, some stuff that kind of crosses over to more winter activity and colder weather and stuff like that. But again, I think it will probably take a little time and just want to be like really thoughtful about it and have the time to test everything. But yeah, just in the immediate future is kind of like how do we get more people to find out about us? I don't know.
Yeah. I think they will. Before we go, I wanted to ask you, is there like one kind of like belief that like really like anchors like your life and your work and that's something that you think people should hear about or should know?
And that's like I'm gonna have to think hard about that question. So my work and my
It's a
life,
deep one.
it's deep.
It doesn't have to be both. It could be either or.
I think if I'm gonna like make it a little bit about Curious Creatures, I think it is, yeah, like the creativity and artistic side of of myself. And you have this too, but and how it relates back to product. Because I think people really like the vibe and how inclusive it is and all this stuff, which is great. That's like makes me so happy. And that was the point too, is to create a community and stuff. But at the end of the day, if the product isn't really what people love, it's kind of not enough to survive on vibes alone, I don't think. So I just hope that the product can always continue to be really high quality and really what people want. And yeah, always come back to that. I think at the end of the day, when things are feeling hard, is like that we're making stuff that gets people outside and gets people psyched. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much for chatting and taking the time away from your child. And I know it's a little bit later there in Bozeman. So
Like,
yeah, I really appreciate it.
no, she's with her
Yeah, thank you
dad.
so
So
much.
it's like, oh wow, I'm the podcast, and then she's like crying the whole time. Hope it didn't come through too much.
No, no, that's fine. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Yeah, it was really fun to speak with you.
And that's our show for today. If you like this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a friend. It all really helps out. If you have any questions about creativity, process, or anything we talked about, drop a comment. I'd love to hear from you. You can follow along at Broken Coastal on Instagram and YouTube. Thanks for being here. See you next time.